for the afternoon.
I'll bet these two have it worked out next time it happens. Okay, and that's the important thing, and that's all that really matters. And the premium that goes on defense at those two positions is the main thing. And they'll work it out, and they'll get better, and they need to.
Starlin said that if he had to do it again now, he said if he's not 100% sure, he'll ask for help.
Well, that's what it's all about. But it's not just communication was going on and ongoing, and we went back and looked at that, so I knew that was going on. But instinctively, with those two kids being together, sometimes it's got to become. It's not even the communication thing goes right out. The minute the ball goes up here at home, you have an understanding what may or may not take place, and that's all. And just another learning experience for those guys. But one that I really believe they're going to be here together for a long time, and don't want to see a mistake like that happen again, and don't believe it will.
That's Mike Quade on Starlin Castro and Darwin Barney. Well, the pitching situation for this weekend, big start tomorrow for Randy Wells. The Cubs with an off day yesterday, another on Monday, allowing Mike Quade and Mark Riggins to configure their rotation the way they would like. And Rodrigo Lopez, as good as he's been here the last couple of weeks, will be available out of the bullpen with Wells taking the start tomorrow. And again, Randy hasn't pitched well, so he needs to show the Cubs and everybody here a little something in Game 2 of this series. Speaking of Rodrigo Lopez, you couldn't ask for more from the veteran right-hander. He's been very good since returning to the rotation out of the bullpen, and he had a chance to sit down earlier with Sarah Kustok.
Thank you, Len. Rodrigo, first things first, you just tell me that coming to Chicago used to be one of your favorite places to play. Just on Monday, you outduel Roy Halladay. You give up just 1 run, 6 2/3 innings, and you walk off the field to a standing ovation by the Wrigley Field crowd. What did that feel like for you?
I mean, it's hard to describe how it feels. I mean, I guess all the pitchers are pretty pleased with any ovation that you get from the crowd, but be here in Wrigley, I think it's very special. It was a good challenge for me, pinch against Roy Halladay and my former teammates as well. But once I step out of the lines, I just feel great. It's hard to explain, but it's a moment I'm gonna take with me all my life.
And getting to this point hasn't been easy for you. Picked up by the Cubs in May, but you've been with a different club virtually every year since you had Tommy John surgery in 2007. What has that transition and challenge been like for you to get to the point where you're at today?
I mean, it's been tough. I think a lot of mental things that I deal with. It's tough, like trying to find a job, trying to find a contract. Year after year, when you think you've been doing enough to prove yourself that you can pitch in the big leagues. But at this point, I think I understand more baseball, how the things work, how the business part work, and I really love to stay in the game. So I've been sacrificed a lot of things, and I've been doing hard work all this year. Just like you say, every year I had to go with a new team, and I mean it's fun because you know a lot of people, but at the same time you would like to see or know where you're gonna go. But all with the time you got the low reward, and at the end it's worth it.
You say you understand it's a business, and the confidence that you have in your own abilities. The last 4 starts, you have an ERA of 1.85, but you've now been moved to the bullpen. How do you handle the movement from being a starter and going to the bullpen, vice versa?
I just try to adjust myself. It's tough. There's different thoughts that you go through. In my case, I was already in the bullpen here earlier. I was trying to find out how to go from 0 to 100 in a matter of 32 minutes. When you're in the rotation, you got the time, you got the whole day to think about. You analyze the players and all that. But and the bullpen is like, get up and you might fish in the next guy. So I guess that gives you a rush feeling that you have to go and overdo things and try to do it. So that's the things that I was dealing with, and I think since I do it once already this year, probably now I can handle it better. But it's the things that I had to go and adjust at this part of my career.
Can it be frustrating since you have gotten into such a groove, though, and have been pitching so well as a starter?
Well, it is, but at the same time, you think, they do it because the benefit of the team. We are part of the group, and I guess we're trying to pick up each other. This time, I think I need to go to the bullpen and trying to help my team over there. I don't know if I'm going to stay there or going to go back in the rotation, but I will do my best to help the team.
Good stuff with Rodrigo Lopez. That's the Premier League trophy won by the Manchester United. Here on hand today with a little jersey exchange they'll be taking on the Fire at Soldier Field this weekend. And when we come back, we'll talk about today's starting pitchers, the Astros and Cubs, coming up. Astros fans receiving the free Cubs tumbler on their way into the ballpark this afternoon. First of a 3-game series. Cubs finishing up a 10-game homestand, 2-5 through the first 7. Right now they're 5.5 games ahead of Houston for 5th place in the NL Central Division. Let's look at the 2 starting pitchers for today. Carlos Zambrano will go for the Cubs. This is his second start off the disabled list. He struggled against Florida 6 days ago, but 15 career wins against the Astros. Bud Norris with a decent 3.59 ERA this year. He's 5-6 through 19 starts. And as we go back to Zambrano's last start against the Astros, one of his best outings of the season, he went 8 innings, giving up 7 hits, just 1 run. Walked nobody, struck out 7. He actually left with a 3-1 lead. The Cubs bullpen couldn't hold it, however, as the Cubs would drop a 7-3 decision. So Z comes in at 6-5 on the year. This will be his 20th start. All right, Starlin Castro's #1 fan. Bob Brenly will join me. We'll preview the Astros and Cubs just moments away here on CSN. From Wrigley Field here in Chicago, it's soggy but not raining at the moment. We're a little waterlogged. Got a huge storm this morning, but we're set for Cubs baseball on Comcast Sportsnet. The Cubs welcome in the Houston Astros. It's the first of a 3-game weekend series. And hi again, everyone. Alongside Bob Brenly, I'm Len Casper. The Cubs have struggled this year against just about everybody, but in particular against their own division. And Bob, we're going to take a look ahead. A lot of games coming up against the Central.
Yeah, Cubs have an opportunity to perhaps even that record against the Central Division over the next couple of weeks here. They've got a 3-game series with the Astros, followed by the Brewers, the Cardinals, the Pirates, the Reds. If the Cubs are going to make a move, this would be a great time to do it.
That's our Feltco upcoming schedule, and the Cubs also have a little revenge on their minds against a Houston team that swept them here at the end of May and early June.
Yeah, swept them in every conceivable way. Right now, the Cubs have a 5.5-game lead over the Astros going into this series. When you play a team that statistically is worse than you, and the Astros are in the standings right now, you got to step on their neck in that first game of the series and keep them down.
Pretty good chance the next time these two teams meet, their rosters will look a little different. In particular, the Astros, they could be in a big-time sellers mode. Let's go down to the field now for our national anthem.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, please rise, kindly remove your caps, and join Nick Boyd as he honors America with our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by by the dawn's early light, what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Getting the weekend off to an early start with a Friday matinee here on the north side of Chicago. The Astros and the Cubs coming up. Carlos Zambrano on Dempster Casino night was dealing Wednesday night. He hopes to deal again today on the mound.
Every day at Subway, choose from many delicious regular footlong subs for just $5. Subway, eat fresh. Honda. Visit your local Honda dealer today or go to shophonda.com and find great values on a new Honda. AT&T U-verse. Find out more of what's possible at att.com. AT&T. Rethink possible. And by Southwest Airlines' new Rapid Rewards. Unlimited reward seats and no blackout dates.
Welcome back to the ballpark. It looked like midnight around 10 a.m. this morning. But the storms have passed. And we're ready for the Astros and the Cubs. Showed you members of the Manchester United soccer team here earlier. And more celebrity guests. Tom Felton, who plays Draco Malfoy from the Harry Potter movies, here to throw out a ceremonial first pitch. Comedian and actor Jeff Garlin will conduct the 7th inning stretch, and I'm sure give us a few laughs a little later. Cubs off yesterday, starting this homestand 2-5. They dropped 3 of 4 to the Marlins and then lost 2 of 3 to the Philadelphia Phillies. Houston has struggled this year mightily, but they've won 2 in a row, and they just won a series for the first time in over a month as they beat the Nationals in back-to-back games. So 2 teams struggling. We'll try to get on some sort of roll here this weekend.
Boy, and 2 teams that are very similar statistically. If you look at the National League stat sheet, they are both at the bottom in fielding percentage. The Cubs have made 87 errors, the Astros 72. They're last and next to the last in team ERA. They're tied in team batting average, so a lot of similarities statistically between these 2 ball clubs.
It feels like a cold front, doesn't it, compared to the temperatures we saw in that Philadelphia series. Rain really cooled it off today. Not that it's cold by any stretch. Anything under 85 feels cold after the week we've had. Now the Astros Southwest starting lineup written out by manager Brad Mills. Michael Bourne will lead it off in center. He leads the majors in stolen bases. Rookie Jose Altuve with just his 2nd major league game. Hence the all-star Carlos Lee always does well against the Cubs. Brett Wallace at first. Chris Johnson over at third. It's Clint Barmas the shortstop. Humberto Quintero the catcher, and Bud Norris the pitcher.
Take a look at the Cubs defense today, brought to you by Degree. It'll be Soriano, Bird, and Fukudome once again across the outfield, left to right. Ramirez, Castro, Barney, and Pena across the infield. Giovanni Soto doing the catching again today for our Alexis pursuing perfection starting pitcher, right-hander Carlos Zambrano. Looking to get back on the right track. He's had a couple of real rocky outings. 4 of his last 6 have not been very good. Tremendously helpful for Carlos to get off to a good start today. Put a 0 on that board in the first inning and take your chances.
There is a chance, as we check out the umpires, Mark Ripperger will get the plate. Buckner, Scott, the crew chief, and Meals on the bases. There's a chance Carlos Marmol could get the save opportunity if the Cubs have a lead in the 9th. But we'll see as he's working his way back into that role.
You watch Zambrano take his warm-up pitches here before the beginning of the ball game, and perhaps that could be an explanation why he struggles, especially against the first hitter of an inning or in the first inning of a ball game. He's kind of towing the rubber and flipping the ball into Giovanni Soto, taking his last warm-up pitches before we start the ball game, as opposed to what we saw from Roy Halladay, from Cliff Lee in that Philly series. They throw every pitch, whether it's a warm-up pitch or against a hitter, with the same mechanics every time.
Always important to keep that leadoff man on base, especially Michael Bourne, who not only leads the majors by 5 with 35 steals, he's only been caught 5 times. So even against the Zambrano-Soto combo, you can expect him to try to run today, as Z missed badly. 1-0, coming back quickly, and a fastball at the knees is in for a strike.
Bourne leads the majors in stolen bases. He's also first in the National League in infield hits and bunt hits. 26 times he's reached on an infield hit, 8 times on a bunt hit. Now you will see him show bunt at least once or twice each game of this series here at Wrigley.
The 1-2 offering is slapped foul out of play. 75 degrees of southeast wind at 7. Another 1-2, fouled back again. Barney in the outfield grass will get him. Obviously, it seems like the season flies a lot faster when you're having a little more fun, but maybe it's I'm getting old. This is the 100th game of the year. It seems like it really has flown by, as tough a year as it's been for this Cubs team. I think the 6 weeks of spring training is the slowest time of the year. You just cannot wait. That's floated out into shallow left center, and Jose Altuve, in just his 2nd major league game, has his 2nd hit He went 1 for 5 in his major league debut.
Baseball's a game that has such a leisurely pace, even on a daily basis. And you look up before you know it, you're 100 games into the season. You're not where you want to be in the standings. And suddenly there's a sense of urgency that sets in. We don't have much time left if we're going to turn this thing around.
Jose Altuve is 5'7" and was hitting .389 in the minors when the Astros brought him up to replace the recently traded Jeff Keppinger. Keppinger dealt to the Giants. Altuve just 21 years old. He's just about 5-6 weeks younger than Starlin Castro. Hunter Pence hits a double play ball. 5 to 4 to 3. Started by Ramirez. A hit, no runs on just 9 pitches. Here come the Cubs on offense. Starting lineup for this Friday afternoon against Bud Norris. Fukudome, Castro, Ramirez 1 through 3. Pena, Bird, and Soto in the middle. The struggling Alfonso Soriano in left. Darwin Barney still in that 8 hole, and Big Z hitting 9th.
Quick look at the Astros defensively. El Caballo, Carlos Lee in left. Michael Bourne in center. Hunter Pence in right field. Do not run on him. 9 outfield assists, leading the National League. 50 since 08, leading the majors. Chris Johnson, Clint Barmas, Jose Altuve, and Brett Wallace across the infield. Humberto Quintero doing the catching today for right-hander Bud Norris.
Norris pitching here at Wrigley Field. The second time in his career. The first time was the only time in his major league career to this point he has worked in relief. It was his big league debut on July 29th of 09. 3 innings, 1 run. Ground ball, base hit into center for Fukudome.
You see a fastball slider changeup combination from Bud Norris. He's a Pacific Coast League Pitcher of the Year back in 09. Was voted to have the best fastball and best curveball, a pitch that he rarely throws anymore.
Now Castro, you see, leading the club in runs and hits. Also with 8 triples. He's tied for first with 25 doubles, along with Aramis Ramirez. Bounce to third. Johnson, Altuve, they turn it.
Wow.
Or the 5'7", 168-pound Jose Altuve can get rid of it in a hurry on that relay.
I didn't think there was any chance they could double up Castro on that ball. Slowly hit right down the third base line. Johnson with a strong throw to Altuve, but his pivot at second really made that double play. Lightning hands out there at second base.
He borrowed some of the lightning we've seen this week.
Yeah.
A lot of it in the area. Ramos Ramirez takes a slider off the outside corner. We want to welcome those watching around the world on the Armed Forces Network and also on ESPN UK. Pop up by Ramirez. Johnson and Barmas will give it a look. No play.
And wind blowing from right toward left today. I'll push that one further up into the bleachers. Should knock down balls hit the right field. Maybe assist fly balls hit the left field.
Once again, we want to thank all the men and women around the world serving our great nation, watching today on that Armed Forces Network. Thank you for all you do.
Absolutely. Hope you're having a great day.
Or night, depending on where they are.
Yes, sir.
Norris with a 2-1. Good slider to even it up at 2-2. Norris is 26, 6 feet, 219 pounds. Swing and a miss. He got him. Quick end to the first. Each pitcher getting a double play ball. We're scoreless after one. CSNChicago.com, brought to you by Honda.
Apparently it's every other seat, pizza and nachos today. Be careful where you sit depending on what you want to eat.
Right. Never a bad time for deep dish pizza, though, is it?
Ballpark breakfast, nothing like it.
Left fielder Carlos Lee is in with just 7 home runs. 20 though in his career here at Wrigley. 35 overall against the Cubs. He's third on the active list in those categories. Pujols and Dunn, the only 2 guys ahead of him.
And gaudy career numbers against Big Z. El Caballo, a .369 hitter with 6 doubles and 5 home runs lifetime against Carlos Zambrano.
Slugging numbers way down the last 2 years for El Caballo. Pitcher's strike on the inside corner. Lee was taking all the way, 3-2. Still hitting for doubles power, however, 27. On pace for a career best in that category as he takes ball 4.
On our Galaxy pitch tracks, the official remodeler of the Chicago Cubs. That last pitch up high out of the zone. The only chance was to get a check swing. Unfortunately, El Caballo able to hold up.
Red Wallace, left-handed hitting first baseman. Wallace not afraid to take some pitches. He has a team high 34 walks on the year. Muscles that one out into shallow right center, and their 2 hits have both been bloop singles out into the gaps. 2 on with nobody out, and it's the third baseman Chris Johnson, who, interestingly enough, Bob, is not or hasn't been a very good double play candidate this year.
Been a strikeout candidate. Yeah, it's a tough guy to walk right here. A very aggressive swinger. Only 12 base on balls and over 300 at bats this season.
Toughest hitter in the league to double up. Big numbers for Johnson here at Wrigley Field. He's grounded into 2 double plays all season. 2-0.
This has already been a rare at bat for Chris Johnson. He likes to attack early in the sequence, first or second pitch, close to the strike zone, but it looks like the Astros are all going to make Zambrano work a little bit here today.
Up the middle, base hit. Lee is going to be stopped by Dave Clark. The bases are loaded with nobody out. So he got the ground ball, but it was up the middle.
You knew he couldn't take 3 pitches in a row. This is a guy that loves to swing the bat, gets a middle of the plate fastball at 92 and sends it right back where it came from. Carlos Lee not exactly looking forward to rounding third and scoring on that base hit to center field. Just kind of tippy-toed into the bag, and Dave Clark down there at third base had no choice but to hold him up.
Clint Barmas. Something a few fans in the area will probably create here in Wrigleyville after the game. Barmes.
No, I'm sure.
AT&T UVerse Multiview. Astros with 3 on and nobody out. Inside, he's going to 2-0 on the last 2 hitters. The guys love to hit in this spot. It has not been successful for Barmas. Missed again, 3-0. Quintero, the catcher, on deck. 3-0 pitch, a strike. Barmas may take another here. It's grooved in his happy zone. Castro will step on second, and a 6-3 double play that takes an RBI away from Barmas, but the Astros do get the first run. Cubs will take that exchange gladly. Well, they get a 3-1 double play ball. It's 1-0 Houston.
Sound like Barmes may have broken his bat as he hits this ball back up the middle of the field. Good decision by Starlin Castro here. Just take it yourself. No sense risking an unnecessary flip. His momentum is carrying him right toward the bag at second anyway. Take it yourself. 6-3 double play, but the Astros do get on the board first.
Chopper by Quintero, and just like that, Z out of the inning with very limited damage. Boy, that could have been a big inning for the Astros, but Z able to keep them down to just 1 run. Fans at the game will be able to give a thumbs up to the Cubs with the Denizen Jeans exclusive thumbs up giveaway. The new Denizen brand is from the makers of Levi's jeans, can be found exclusively at Target. For more information and to purchase tickets, visit Cubs.com. Big thumbs up. So we're 9 outs into this game. 6 have come on ground ball double plays.
None bigger than that one by the Cubs in the top half of the second. It looked like disaster waiting to happen for Carlos Zambrano and the Cubbies, but able to get that 6-3 double play and then a quick ground out by the catcher Quintero and limited the damage to only 1 run.
First baseman Carlos Pena. I think in the cleanup spot. Watch Comcast Sportsnet game replays on demand with Xfinity TV from Comcast. Don't miss the action. Call 1-800-XFINITY today. Called strike 1-1. Pena has started all but 10 games at first base this year. One and two.
It's like Bud Norris has added a cutter since we saw him last. He used to just be 4-seam fastball, slider, changeup, but he's thrown some pitches at 87, 88, 89 with just a little bit of movement into a lefty away from a righty. And that's going to be strike 3 on Pena as he tried to hold up. Cutter is the pitch du jour this season. Boy, everybody's breaking out some version of the cutter. Sometimes a little bigger, looks like a slider. Other times a little smaller, looks more like a fastball. That's just a high 4-seamer right there at 93. That was the pitch that got him to the major leagues. I mentioned back in 09, pitcher of the year in the Coast League, and was voted to have the best fastball not only in the Pacific Coast League but in the Astros organization.
That's a pitch you're talking about right there. He might call it a slider, but it seems to be a little tighter than that. He does throw a slider pretty hard. Fastball bounced foul. Marlon Byrd down in the count 0-2. Norris, born in Green Bay, California. Went to Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. One straight back over the plate. Byrd simply able to fight it off. Wandy Rodriguez will pitch tomorrow. Has he ever faced the Cubs before?
I don't know.
Rookie Jordan Lyles on Sunday. We've seen a Wandy a lot. It's rare when he doesn't pitch in a series against the Cubs. Barmas gets Byrd. Rodriguez tomorrow will make his 18th career start against the Cubs. But for a while there, it was Wandy Rodriguez against Glendon Rush every time we saw the Astros.
Yeah, just the way it worked out, the rotations and the way the schedule worked and the off days, and it would roll around every time we'd get the two lefties hooked up, it seemed like.
Swing and a miss by Giovanni Soto. One and one. Soto hitting .350 on the homestand, 7 for 20. That was a changeup and it's low. 2-1. There's Wandy.
.500 record with an ERA just over 4 in the 17 previous starts for Wandy Rodriguez against the Cubs.
See a lot of curveballs from him tomorrow as he faces Randy Wells here on Comcast Sportsnet. We're on the air at noon. Pregame at 11:30. Clubbed a deep left, but he was way out in front.
One of those cutter slash sliders that hung up on the inside part of the plate.
Caught him looking for second strikeout of the inning. It's 1-0 Houston after 2.
Remember it to love it. Prices and participation may vary. For a limited time, a la carte only.
Cloud cover today after the rain. The heat up a little bit as we see a little more sun. Norris will lead off for the Phillies, or the Astros rather. We just saw the Phillies. I was noticing Brad Lidge will be activated off the DL tonight as the Phillies host the Padres. Danny Baez designated for assignment. Foul past third.
Well, then you mentioned left-hander Wandy Rodriguez taking the mound for the Astros tomorrow. Pretty good chance you'll see a different looking lineup from Mike Quade and the Cubs. Rodriguez does pretty well against left-handed hitters. Righties hitting .280 against him, so good chance we'll see Jeff Baker in there somewhere tomorrow. Maybe Reed Johnson somewhere in the outfield.
See with a 1-2 pitch. Norris able to get a piece of it. This is normally the case on Friday afternoon here at Wrigley. This is the only game currently going on. Everything else is later tonight. Standings seem to change in this Central Division on a daily basis, and starting the weekend, the Pirates and the Brewers in a virtual tie. Pittsburgh 1 percentage point ahead in the Central. St. Louis 1 back and the Reds 4 out. As we talked about in the pregame, the Cubs are going to see all of those teams coming up over the next couple of weeks. And a base hit up the middle as Norris able to hang in there with 2 strikes and eventually picks up a base hit. He came into that at bat at .094 on the year and .141 for his career.
Pretty good at bat that time. Fouled off a couple of tough pitches on the 2-strike count. Then a 90-mile-an-hour fastball right back up the middle of the field. He hit that on the butt.
Warren shows bunt and takes a sinker for ball 1.
The Cubs defensively have to be aware of who's running at first base and who the hitter is. You might have a better chance getting the lead runner at second base if Bourne put down a bunt.
Well, Pena was playing in and didn't have time to react on that liner that got past him and into right. And the Astros have the first 2 on yet again.
That's what speed will do. It changes the defense where you position yourself. You can see Carlos Pena is a good 10 feet in front of the bag at first, expecting a bunt. And Michael Bourne just shoots it right past him into right field for a base hit.
Kind of interesting for Zambrano going back to the Norris at bat. And now, including Bourne, 10 batters have come up, and Z has no strikeouts. His strikeout rate is down considerably. That's bunted foul by Altuve. Now his walk rate also is down, but he's had a little trouble putting guys away.
He's able to get to 2-strike counts in many instances, just can't seem to come up with that put away pitch to get a quick out either via ground ball or make that nasty pitch and get the strikeout that he's looking for.
His hit rate is up this year. Pop foul, and Soto got a late start on it. That one really jammed Altuve. 0-2. Mentioned how diminutive he is. But he was hitting for power at 2 different levels in the minor leagues. Now I'm told it's Lancaster Class A and then Corpus. That's in the Texas League. That's a hitter's league. We know that. He was slugging almost 600 at those 2 levels. 10 triples, 10 home runs for the 5'7" Jose Altuve.
It's not unusual in Lancaster to get 30, 40, 50 mile an hour winds blowing straight out every night. So those numbers may be a little bit inflated, but it shows you that he's capable of driving the ball.
That's a Cal League, right?
Yeah.
So high A and double A.
We played an exhibition game in Lancaster, California when they were an affiliate of the Arizona Diamondbacks. The big league club went in there to play an exhibition game, and we ran out of baseballs during batting practice. The wind was blowing straight out to right center field about 50 miles an hour. And hey, when you run out of balls, batting practice is over.
I don't think Altuve's bat is necessarily big, but it looks big when he swings it.
I don't remember specifically. I guess I could look it up. Jimmy Wynn, former great Astro, he wasn't a very big guy. They called him the toy cannon. I think he was under 6 foot for sure.
Two and two. 5'10", 160.
He could hit him as far as anybody.
291 career home runs. Yeah, you're right. Oh, he got hit. I could hear that one loud and clear. Well, again, Z unable to put away a guy. Got him to 2 strikes, and they have the bases loaded with nobody out for the second consecutive inning.
The difference this time, back in the second, he was facing the 7, 8, 9 hitter with the bases loaded. Man, I got him right on the back of the left shoulder at 91. This time Carlos is going to have to work through the 3, 4, 5 hitters in this Astros lineup with the bases loaded and nobody out.
Hey, just to follow up on the toy cannon, 1969 with Houston, Jimmy Wynn took 148 walks that year. Struck out 142 times. He didn't need a bat for a lot of those plate appearances. Hit 33 home runs. What a year. Inside to Hunter Pence, probably the last guy you want to face in this spot. And if you like to read about trade rumors, you've seen his name as often as Carlos Beltran's in terms of teams interested in adding an outfielder. The 1-0 pitch to Pence, slider missed 2-0. And we've seen this movie before. This looks just like the second inning, with the big difference being what you mentioned. The part of the order here is a little scary. 3-0. Swinging away, and he lines it into left. It's going to be caught. Throw back to second, gets by, so everybody's safe at their base. Bud Norris thought that ball was going to drop, so he was unable to tag and score. I'll tell you, I don't think Soriano thought he was going to catch it. It just kept carrying.
The ball was absolutely scalded by Hunter Pence. Hit on a line. Looked like it was going to get over the infield and then dive down into the grass, but it carried all the way out to Soriano in medium depth left field. You'll see him come in here, make the waist high catch. His eye was caught by the runner at second base. He may have had a better play at third.
And Lee pops into shallow left. Norris will have to hold. 2 outs. So the other question is, did Norris make a mistake in not tagging?
Yeah, I think
you
so.
Score either way,
yeah,
right?
I mean, it's what happens when you have a pitcher running at third base. Sometimes they react in a manner that they think is proper. As you get a look at El Caballo popping one up into left field for the second out of the inning. Dave Clark running up to tell Norris, no, no, no. Yeah, if the ball drops, you're going to score anyway if you're tagged up. And if he makes the catch, I don't think he would have been able to score, but yeah, no reason to go halfway down the line there.
Still not out of the woods. It's Wallace who takes a fastball high. And then the other question is, yeah, if you're going to give anybody the green light, it's probably Pence. But with the bases loaded, and he did all you could. He hit it hard, but it was an unproductive out, as they say.
You see Bud Norris there at third base on contact, started down the line. He thought it was going to drop in front of Soriano for sure. May have had a better chance of getting Norris at third base than trying to double off Michael Bourne at second, just because of the relative speed of the two players.
Up in the air to right. Z's going to get out of it. Fukudome to end the inning. Bases loaded, nobody out in 2 consecutive innings. They get a grand total of 1 run. Live on Comcast Sportsnet, Tribune writers, sports stars, and celebrities. Join host David Kaplan to discuss the day's hottest sports topics and set the table for the night ahead. Chicago Tribune Live, presented by Captain Morgan, tonight after postgame live on Comcast Sportsnet. Fans' best friend. Carlos Houdini.
Watch me pull a rabbit out of my hat.
I think he pulled it from another place,
yeah,
but
well,
it worked. There's Alfonso Soriano. We'd love to see the Cubs take advantage here. This could be a blowout right now, and it's only 1-0. Two 2-0 on Alfonso. It's been a real struggle here since the break. He's just 1 for 21. Ouch.
.20 slider to Soriano. Side of the right thigh. Yikes. But some of you out there may have catchers in your family, or you know catchers. Some of the bruises that these guys will end up with before the end of the season, and a lot of them don't even go away by the end of the season, are just remarkable.
Carlos Lee will have to chase this one down. Leadoff double. get Soriano jump started.
I hope so. It looked like he got fooled just a little bit by that slider on the outside corner. Kind of a one-handed swing, but able to get enough of it to hook it down into that left field corner for El Caballo. By the time he runs it down, Soriano's chugging into second base with a leadoff double. Move him. Some of the other pitchers on the Cubs staff, you would ask Darwin Barney to go ahead and try to drive that run in with Zambrano hitting in the 9 spot. You definitely want to move Soriano to third base somehow. Johnson at third base, possibly expecting a bunt. Wallace at first playing back.
Out into left center, but Bourne can cover a lot of ground out there. So that's the first out. Bourne, a 2-time Gold Glover.
The Cubs Wives Food Drive is Saturday, August 6th, right here at Wrigley Field. Don't forget to bring healthy, non-perishable food items with you to the game. Fans that make a donation of 10 eligible items or $20 will receive a Cubs autographed photo. Limit 2 per person while supplies last. All proceeds benefit Lakeview Pantry. For more information, call 773-404-CUBS or visit Cubs.com.
22 career homers for Zambrano as he steps in. Most by a big league pitcher since Bob Gibson retired in 1975 with 24 in his career. Manicuring going on of the dirt right behind home plate by Quintero. Just missed the inside corner. How smooth does a catcher try to keep that dirt?
As smooth as you possibly can, to the point where you'll see catchers step out as the game moves on and smooth out the dirt in front of home plate. That's where a lot of breaking pitches will end up bouncing in front of the plate. If there happen to be divots or footprints or chunks taken out of that area right in front of home plate, you want to fill those in and smooth them out as best as possible. Not much you can do about the batter's boxes. They're going to end up getting torn up over the course of the afternoon, but the area right in front of and right behind home plate, you try to keep that as smooth as possible.
Stay in, and it's 2-2. I saw about 650 at bats. That's about a full season of at bats. 22 home runs. Able to hold up 3-2.
You see Norris pitching Carlos Zambrano the way the Cubs pitched against Ryan Howard, the way most teams pitch against Adam Dunn, the big left-handed power hitters. You try to stay in on their hands where they can't get those arms extended. The Astros with a steady diet of pitches on the inner third of the plate or further in on Big Z. The Cubs did a great job in that series against Ryan Howard. They really made some good pitches on him in some key situations, kept jamming him in on the hands.
Back to Norris. They've got Soriano caught up. Little underhand, awkward flip. Barmes to Johnson, and they get him. Well, Norris almost threw it away on an awkward underhand flip, but they get the lead runner. 2 down in the inning.
Well, not to excuse the play of Alfonso Soriano here, but as a runner, you're taught all the time if the ball's hit to your left, it's safe to advance to third base. If it's hit to your right, you better hold your ground. The wild card is that one hit right back to the mound. If you have a good fielding pitcher, that's when you're going to end up getting caught in no man land like Soriano did right there.
Here's Kosuke. He had the first hit first at bat against Norris. Wallace will play just behind Zambrano at first. And a base hit into left. Or rather to right. The lefty Fukudome. He's 2 for 2.
Kosuke, normally a very patient hitter, sees as many pitches per at bat as anybody on this Cubs roster, but Norris and the Astros know that. They just tried to jump ahead with a first pitch fastball, and that time Kosuke ambushed him.
Brings up Starlin Castro on the first pitch of his initial at bat. He bounced into a 5-4-3 double play. Slider knee high for strike one. Norris gets the sign from his catcher Quintero, sets up toward the outside corner, and a fly ball for Michael Bourne in right center. Sunglasses on, makes the grab. Cubs waste a leadoff double. They trail 1-0 after 3.
More with the KFC 10-piece family feast, just $20.
Time now for our AT&T trivia question. Which of these three pitchers was not selected to the first Hall of Fame class of 1936? Cy Young, Walter Johnson, or Christy Mathewson? Well, that's your era. I certainly defer to you on that.
Okay. Well, it was a big controversy at the time, too, as I recall.
A lot of times our questions go against the grain, so Cy Young probably makes sense.
That was my first thought. Yeah.
Well, a weird start for Carlos Zambrano. He's given up just one run, but had the bases loaded twice with nobody out. That is picked clean by Ramirez for the out. So Johnson lines out.
We talked about Johnson in his first at bat of this game. He likes to get them over with quickly. First, second, maybe 3 pitches in an at bat is usually about the max. That time got an 88-mile-an-hour cutter right in the middle of the zone. Lined right through the third baseman Ramirez.
Barmas bounced into a 6-3 double play in the second. On that play, Carlos Lee scored the long run to this point, 2-0. I'm sure you noticed the other day, and obviously the temperature's heating up. Maybe had something to do with it, but Mike Quaddy, a little aggravated by the way the Cubs played on Wednesday, in particular that first inning pop-up that wasn't caught in the middle of the diamond. You had White Sox manager Ozzie Guillen totally go off on his team after they lost in extras in Kansas City. You had their pitching coach Don Cooper hang up on the morning show guys on the score yesterday. I mean, maybe it is the heat.
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah, they just a little ornery right now. Barmas with a base hit. Well, it's that time of year, right?
Yeah. And as far as Ozzy's rant goes, apparently they had all kinds of audio issues because I only heard like every other word. I'm not sure what the problem was, but yeah. You combine the heat and playing well below expectations, and as teams and as individuals, and this is the result. You get a lot of very angry ball players this time of year.
Runner at first, 1 out. The pitch to Quintero is a strike.
Quintero has been a good hit and run man throughout the course of his career. Not so sure that Brad Mills will want to do it with 1 out in the inning, but the 8-hitter at the plate with the pitcher hitting next. I've had discussions and arguments with players about this before who don't like to hit and run if you're in that 8 spot in the order with the pitcher coming up next. But we talk all the time about rolling that lineup over. If any time you have an opportunity to get that pitcher to the plate in the inning, get him out of the way and roll around to the top of the order, I think it's to your advantage. And rather than look at it as a defensive play where I'm just trying to stay out of the double play,
it's going to get down.
Yeah, it's going to get down in right for a base hit. I look at it as an offensive play. You're trying to put your pitcher in a first and third situation with 1 out.
This is one of those days so far where Z could say, you know, I've given up 3 flare hits, which would indicate he's pitching better than the results so far. But I would also say, Bob, there have been 2 balls just crushed for outs, 2 line outs. So I think it has evened out a little bit today. He's given up 7 hits already.
Well, we have a moment here as Giovanni Soto headed out to the mound to talk to Zambrano. Let's take a look at our Coors Light freeze cam. The line drive you're talking about off the bat of Hunter Pence right at Soriano in left field. You see how far down the line Bud Norris came at third. Soriano's throw went back to second as that bunt is dumped out in front of home plate. Soto will only have the play at first. Nicely done. Freeze cam brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer.
Goes 2-4 on the sacrifice. Norris now at 10 among the league leaders. Well, we can say one thing. Z hasn't minded pitching with runners in scoring position today. Houston is 1 for 6 in this spot. Make it 2 for 7. Barmas scores. Quintero's going to be stopped. It's an RBI single for Michael Bourne. In that sweep here, The last time the Astros came to town, Michael Bourne had 2 game-winning RBIs.
Belt high fastball down the middle of the plate. Yeah, ideally against Michael Bourne, you try to elevate that fastball even higher to get him to hit the ball in the air. Does not have home run power, especially to the opposite field, but that time a clean line drive into right to drive home Clint Barnes.
Watch Bourne here. There he goes. And Soto did not even plan on making a throw. Major League leading 36th stolen base. The Astros as a team very efficient on the base paths. When they run, they're usually safe. Altuve somehow got out of the way. Here comes Mark Riggins. It has been a grind throughout for Big Z. He's got a couple of ground ball double plays which have been huge. But he has worked behind in the count all afternoon. He doesn't yet have a strikeout. He's, I think, pretty fortunate to be down only 2-0.
It's pretty amazing he's only down 2-0 at this point, and makes a good pitch here that will limit the damage in another inning.
And in between innings, the Menards grounds crew doing great work as always. They were busy this morning with the tarp.
Definitely want the inning to end right here with Altuve. That guy in the on-deck circle, as we mentioned, hit a bullet to left field in his last at bat, and there it is.
Soft liner caught by Barney. They strand 2 more. They've left 6 on through 4, but the Astros lead the Cubs 2-0. As a Hall of Famer in the initial class of 1936. Young, Johnson, or Mathewson? It was Cy Young. How is it Cy Young got less than 50% of the vote?
Can't figure that one out. How about that first class to be voted in, though? Ty Cobb, Babe Ruth, Honus Wagner, Christy Mathewson, and Walter Johnson.
Ramos will start the Cubs 4th. They trail 2-0. And line into the left field corner. Back-to-back innings, the Cubs with a leadoff double. Soriano in the third, and now Ramirez in the fourth.
Well, no doubt the Astros have had a lot more opportunities in the early going, but the Cubs have had some chances. You mentioned back-to-back leadoff doubles in the last 2 innings, unable to cash it in. Hopefully take advantage of this situation. You see Johnson with a futile leap, a ball that was way over his head down into that left field corner.
Cubs with 15 doubles over their last 5 games. Second time through generally in the middle innings. He's been really good.
Yeah, it's usually not till he reaches around the 75 to 80 pitch mark that you see some decrease in velocity and effectiveness for Bud Norris.
Hall of Fame weekend. We focused in on Roberto Alomar on Wednesday, and today Bert Blyleven. Long overdue. 22 major league seasons. A couple of times he was on a World Series champion. Set the single season record for home runs allowed in 1986. Gave up 50 that year. I think what probably hurt him, look at his overall career. I mean, in some ways longevity should help you, but he was 37 games over 500, 287 and 250. I think the amount of losses and the fact that he just was short of 3,000 or 300 wins hurt his cause. Piled up some huge numbers.
Yeah, I'd put him in the Hall of Fame for one pitch that he threw to me in spring training back in the early 80s.
Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Pena's gone. That's the first out.
Dwayne Kuiper was a teammate of mine with the San Francisco Giants and had played with and against Bert Blyleven throughout his career at different places. Bert was pitching for the Indians that spring, and in a Cactus League game at Scottsdale Stadium, Kuiper told me Bert Blyleven never throws his curveball in spring training. He's just going to throw fastballs in and out, back and forth. He's just working on the command of his fastball. So I went to the plate thinking I'm going to dig in here and really have a rip at a good fastball. He threw me a curveball, and I went straight down to my back. I was expecting him to throw a fastball. Kuiper told me he never threw curveballs in spring training, and he laid me on my back with a curveball that ended up right over the middle of the plate. Got up and dusted myself off, looked in our own dugout, and everybody over there was laughing at me, including Dwayne Kuiper. So I appreciate that, Smoothie. Thanks a lot.
To the shortstop, Barmas, with Ramirez back to second. Well, Bert was 60 career shutouts, 9th on the all-time list. 3,701 career strikeouts, putting him in the top 5. When he was first eligible in 1998, he got 17.5% of the vote. And generally kept getting a little higher every year, with a couple of exceptions. That one lined all the way out to Carlos Lee. So another leadoff double. And the Cubs failed to score yet again at the end of 4. Houston 2 and the Cubs nothing. You are the 500th texter. You could win $5 foot-long subs from Subway. Len and Bob and our CSN crew from Wrigley Field, 97-year-old Wrigley Field, celebrating its 100th birthday in 2014. Fenway will turn 100 next year. The ballpark holding up extremely well. The two best ballparks in baseball, and they're the two oldest. That's a strike from Z to Pence, 1-1. Walking up to the press box today, there was a large tour group admiring the ballpark, taking a lot of photos on the way up. And just, Bob, when we chat with people who come here for the very first time, they're in total awe of Wrigley Field and the surroundings, especially when they walk into our booth. Big cut and a miss, 3-2, and we don't take that for granted.
Oh, not at all. I said it when we first got this job, Len. This is the best view in sports. There's no place like it. I mean, if you've never hung around after a game here at Wrigley Field, and here we are. I mean, there's probably close to, I don't know, 35, 38,000 people in the ballpark today, and there will probably be 15 or 20,000 of them here a half hour after the game is over, taking pictures, as Pence takes a picture of a called strike 3 right there. From our Galaxy pitch tracks, you'll see Big Z scatter them in and out of the strike zone. He got the benefit of the doubt on that slider that looked like it stayed off the plate inside, but gladly take that first out.
That's his first strikeout of the day. Breaking ball to Carlos Lee. The harder slider that time, 0-2.
You know, and talking about the pictures, the fans that come here to Wrigley maybe for the first time, I've watched a number of the ushers as well, telling people what the best angle is. A lot of people take the picture, you know, from below shooting up into the stands, and they always tell them, no, you go down below and take a picture with the scoreboard in the background. That's the shot you're looking for.
Still 2-2. Outside on a fastball, he's run it full, back-to-back full counts to start this inning. Able to ring up Pence, and the pitch to Lee is fouled off. Two slider. We'll do it again.
I can still remember the first time I came here to Wrigley Field as a visiting player. That was back in the day of all the cookie cutter multi-purpose AstroTurf stadiums. Every ballpark looked like the one you played in the day before, but then you walk that long tunnel from the visitors clubhouse as El Caballo pops one into shallow center. Long run for Marlon Byrd, but he'll get there. Take that long walk down the tunnel, and you come up the steps of that visiting dugout, and it feels like you're playing in somebody's backyard. It was such a welcome change from all the other stadiums that were in baseball back in the early to mid to late 80s. Just a tremendous place to come play baseball or watch baseball.
Foul strike on Brett Wallace. Just being so visibly part of a bigger neighborhood is what makes it so special. Thing like telling people you're tourists. We welcome you to our country.
Brought his glove, though.
Hey, fans couldn't get tickets to the Cardinals series at Wrigley? Well, Cubs Destinations has spots available for this highly anticipated matchup. All standard packages include great tickets, first-class hotel accommodations, and a special Cubs gift bag, a tour of the ballpark, private meet and greet with a current Cubs player. For more info, visit Cubs.com. Called strike 3. 2-3 go the Astros. Good to see with a clean fifth. Still 2-zip. Cap, thank you. Bud Norris with 4 shutout innings. Worked around a couple of leadoff doubles. One by Alfonso Soriano in the 3rd. And a fastball rides inside. Drive to deep left for Soriano. It's gone. Nice grab in the front row. And for Soriano, his first homer in over a month.
For 15 on the season for the Cubs left fielder. Came on a low fastball. We know how he likes low pitches. Went down and golfed that ball on a line just into the basket. Nice catch by a fan, clearly over the yellow stripe for a home run.
First homer since June 19th for Alfonso Soriano. Altuve dropped it. Pence will throw behind Barney, and he just got back into first in time. Altuve making his Wrigley debut, just his second major league game, maybe bothered by the elements a little bit. Just kept drifting and wasn't getting help.
Hazy brightness here right now, as you mentioned, some cloud cover from time to time. No glasses on for Altuve as he tries to make that over the shoulder catch.
It's a base hit. And a bunt by Z. Safe at first, an infield hit. Confusion on the right side of the diamond for the Astros.
You got defenders moving all over the field, especially on that right side of the infield. Brett Wallace charging from first. You see Altuve breaking to cover first. That bunt gets past Bud Norris. No chance for the Astros to retreat in time to get Zambrano at first base. Perfectly placed bunt.
And Doug Brocale, the new pitching coach, who took over in June for Brad Arnsberg, who was let go, is out to the mound. Okay, a former big league pitcher. Had been a special assistant to the general manager, Ed Wade. So the Cubs within one and threatening to get a lot more. 2 on, nobody out. Soriano started the inning with a home run, 2 singles since.
No sign of a bunt on that first pitch to Kosuke Fukudome. He leads the Cubs position players with 5 sacrifice bunts this season. More like a bunt for a base hit than an attempt to sacrifice 2 runners into scoring position. Showed bunt very late, tried to drop it down that third baseline.
Two and one now. Three and one with Castro next.
Well, that was a good take of a changeup just off of the outside corner. Kosuke had the count in his favor, was probably thinking fastball. Instead, he got the changeup that looked like it was going to be a strike until the last instant when it fell off that outside corner. Now he's in a great hitter's count.
Infield pop-up, infield fly rule in effect as Barmes makes a grab. That's the first out. New Bud Light Bleachers series provides fans with exciting new chances in the Bud Light Bleachers this season, including free T-shirt Mondays, $3 12-ounce draft Bud and Bud Light Tuesday nights, and $1 Vienna Beef Hot Dog Wednesdays. Tuesday night special is also available in select locations in the Seating Bowl. For more information and to purchase tickets, visit Cubs.com. Astros in double play depth as Barney takes off for third. The throw there, safe. He got in. Looked like he came off the bag, but Johnson did not continue to apply the tag. Zambrano did not go from first.
You saw Darwin Barney, a couple of big shuffle steps and then a crossover, had a huge walking lead out there at second base. This is how close it was at third. If Johnson kept the tag on Darwin Barney, they might get a call. At the very tail end of this play, Barney slides across the bag, ends up hooking it with his left foot, and it looked like his foot even came off for a moment.
Chance to tie it up here with Barney at third as Castro takes ball one, 1-1. You're wondering, Zambrano has one career steal that came 5 years ago. You see catchers do this a lot these days, Bob. Instead of give a sign, they just shake their head no to get the pitcher to shake off.
Try to plant a seed of doubt in that hitter's mind if he's trying to guess along with a pitcher or a catcher or think back to patterns that he's seen in the past. Sometimes you can confuse a hitter a little bit if you just get that pitcher to shake his head no a couple of times. There you see Quintero wants Norris to shake his head no a couple of times before hanging down the sign for a slider.
3-2.
In an obvious fastball situation, and 3-1 is usually an obvious fastball situation. If you have a pitcher on the mound shaking his head no, as a hitter you start to think, okay, it's an obvious fastball situation. Maybe he shook off the fastball, or maybe the catcher called for a slider and he shook off to get to the fastball. Anytime you get a hitter thinking along those lines, you got a much better chance of getting a defensive swing. This time a couple of shakes and then a changeup.
3 shakeoffs, in fact. High in the air, this should get Barney in no problem. Lee continuing to drift. Zambrano also tagging, but he's going to hold as the throw goes to second. It's a sacrifice fly for Castro as he gets his 43rd RBI, and we're tied at 2.
Nice job by Starlin Castro. Any ball medium depth in the outfield is going to score a run with Darwin Barney at third base after the stolen base. He's able to chug on home, no problem. Zambrano, as you mentioned, had tagged at first and started towards second, but when he saw the throw was on line, he retreated to first base.
Yeah, Castro should thank Barney for stealing third. Needed a sac fly.
Kosuke Fukudome should actually thank Barney as well. Fukudome up at the plate with runners at first and second, nobody out, and had a very unproductive out, popping the ball up to the infield. Then Barney took it upon himself to steal third, where he could score on a sac fly.
Tough year for Brad Mills. Gotten off to very slow starts. Last year, in his first year, they started the year 0-8. This year, 0-5. Deep drive out into left center for a Ramos Ramirez. Out of here. A 2-run shot. And the Cubs have their first lead. They put up a 4 spot here in the 5th.
Just a grooved fastball at 93 miles an hour, down and out over the plate a little bit. I was watching the catcher, Humberto Quintero, right after he gave the sign to Bud Norris. He gave the thumbs up, then he sat very high in his crouch behind home plate. He wanted a fastball up above the letters right there, and Norris threw it right down Main Street.
That's the 231st homer of his Cubs career. He's now tied with Gabby Hartnett for 6th on the franchise list. Gabby Hartnett, a catcher, went into the Hall of Fame in 1955. Hartnett passed away in 1972. He's buried at the All Saints Cemetery in Des Plaines, Illinois. 19 years as a Chicago Cub. Finished up with the New York Giants in 1941. Four-run fifth. All of a sudden the Cubs lead by 2.
Two home runs given up today by Bud Norris, one to Soriano, one to Aramis Ramirez, give him 16 home runs surrendered this season, taking over second place on this Astros pitching staff. Brett Myers with a commanding lead. He's surrendered 24 already this year.
Three-2 changeup, swing and a miss to end the inning. But 2 big home runs. Soriano got the Cubs started with a leadoff shot. Later, the Castro sac fly tied it, and then Ramirez gave the Cubs the lead with a 2-run homer. Ball on Comcast Sportsnet as the Central Division champion Chicago Rush take on the Milwaukee Mustangs at All-State Arena. Don't miss a minute of the action. Rush and Mustangs tomorrow night at 7. Only on Comcast Sportsnet, fans' best friend.
And no napping in that bullpen. Jeff Samardzija with a barehanded play, saving the troops down in that Cubs bullpen.
Tap toward third, and it kicks fair. How about that? It looked like he was going to go foul, but it hit a pebble or something, and Chris Johnson has an infield hit.
Looked like on that second or third bounce, maybe right there, rather than continue to move toward that foul line, it bounced back further into fair territory. No chance for a play on Johnson at that point.
Low for ball one to Barmas. Since we last chatted with you on Wednesday, a few interesting things caught my eye around baseball. What a devastating night it was for both the Diamondbacks and Brewers Wednesday night. Stephen Drew, Diamondbacks shortstop, might be done for the season. Suffered a broken ankle. He had surgery yesterday. Shortly after that, in that same game, Carlos Gomez, Brewers center fielder, broke his left collarbone. It's a rough night. Florida Marlins, after a very successful 4-1 road trip to start the second half, came home and got swept by San Diego, being outscored 23-6 in the 3-game series. Cue shot off the end of the bat. Pena will fire to Castro. Relay throw is going to be tardy.
Just wasn't really hit hard enough to think about turning a double play. Just a cue shot right off the end of the bat. A lot of side English as that ball made its way down to first base. Pena quickly throws to Castro to get the lead runner, but by the time they can get it back to Zambrano covering first, Barmas had legged it out for a fielder's choice.
Brady Sizemore of the Indians had sports hernia surgery, looking at 4 to 6 week recovery. He was already on the DL with a right knee injury. Great game last night, Texas and the Angels. Angels winning 1-0 to get to within 3 of Texas. Jared Weaver, 7+ innings, no runs. He beat C.J. Wilson, who gave up an unearned run and took the loss. Weaver now with a major league best 1.81 ERA. He's 13-4 on the year. Russell the lefty, Samardzija the righty. Quintero able to hold up 1-2. That's welcoming back David Wright. They're missing 59 games. The lower back stress fracture. That's a right at 500, 49-49 as Quintero swings and misses for the second out. 3 strikeouts the last 2 innings for Zambrano.
When you think about all the Mets have had to deal with this year as far as injuries and more recently all the rampant trade rumors, it's pretty amazing that they're playing 500 ball. They've been missing very key pieces of that lineup for major chunks of the season.
Yeah, Jose Reyes,
first baseman Ike Davis.
So Norris with 2 outs and a man on, and he bounces foul. Seattle Still hasn't won since July 5th. A 12-game losing streak, and it's not going to get easier tonight as the Mariners are at Fenway Park to take on the East leading Red Sox. Pop to right, long run for Barney, and he makes a grab basket style near the Astros bullpen in foul territory. Nicely done to end the inning. So the Astros waste the leadoff single, and we go to the bottom of the 6th. The Cubs lead 4-2. Field Sunday, July 31st and Monday, August 1st. Treat your best customers and guests to the ultimate VIP experience in a private suite here in the friendly confines for these historic shows. Mezzanine suites are limited and available now. Call 773-404-4200 for more details and to book your suite today. Four in the 5th.
Wardrobe malfunction.
Yeah. The Cubs lead by 2.
They have 2 sets of buttons on the front of that jersey.
Sometimes you just wish people could see themselves the way our cameras do.
Maybe he does and
doesn't care.
Thinks it looks good. I don't know.
I think what happens is being in public is one thing, and then being in public at a baseball game is another. For whatever reason. One and 2 on Bird.
That's why Comcast gives us these shirts that only have 3 buttons at the top. We can't unbutton them all the way down.
Were you thinking about it?
No.
Okay.
Not after seeing that fan in the bleachers.
Or how about no buttons? I should have known better to even address it at all. Kind of like you talking about bare feet.
Well, see, I was hoping you wouldn't even mention that.
Breaking ball strike on Soto. Has struck out and lined out. Looks like he's going to pop out. Altuve.
Notice in addition to Altuve's equipment out there this inning, he's wearing the sunglasses now after losing a pop-up in the sun in the last inning.
Alfonso Soriano's had a really good day at the plate, and he needed one. Double and a home run. Fastball low and inside. James Russell's still up in the bullpen. We may see him in the 7th. We will also see, for sure, Jeff Garland, huge Cub fan. In the 7th inning stretch as Bourne makes a grab on the warning track to end the inning. See if Z heads back out there or if it'll be Russell in the 7th. 4-2 Cubs. Through the 30th, 2012 at Medina to be included in a random draw to purchase tickets and a chance to see Team USA versus Team Europe. Go to RyderCup.com. Here is the lefty James Russell as Mike Quade will turn it over to the bullpen to try to save this game for Carlos Zambrano, who went 6 innings, gave up 9 hits, but only 2 runs. This has really come into his own here in the bullpen this year.
You think about the way the Cubs bullpen has set up for most of the season. If you see James Russell, Jeff Samardzija is not far behind. Or if you see Jeff Samardzija, James Russell is not far behind. Kind of a two-headed monster to get through these innings, to get into the latter portion of the ball game. And then the same can be said for most of the season for Sean Marshall and Kerry Wood leading up to Carlos Marmol.
The 0-1 pitch to Michael Bourne. It's a breaking ball on the ground. A little slip by Pena. Safe. Ooh, dangerous too is Barney. Almost collided there with Michael Bourne. And an infield hit. 3rd hit of the day, 3rd hit in a row for Bourne, who now has 27 infield hits, leading the National League.
May have been better served tossing it to James Russell, who may have been able to apply a tag to Michael Bourne as he ran past, but Darwin Barney coming over from second base. You can see he's watching for the toss. He's not sure where the base is. catches the corner of it, slides off there. Boy, that could have been a lot worse than it was. Very close.
That'll be it for Russell. It's the Toyota call to the pen. Here's Jeff Samardzija. We'll be back. It's the Toyota call to the pen. Jeff Samardzija facing Jose Altuve, appearing in just his second career game above Double-A. Runner at first, nobody out here in the seventh. Late swing by Altuve on a fastball at 94.
Jeff's done a much better job recently of finding that strike zone. Really struggled with the walks in the early part of the season. Wasn't getting hit very hard, but giving up a lot of base runners via the base on ball has been much more effective lately.
Still early enough. 2-run game. I think Bourne certainly would think about running again. Stole a base in the fourth. There he goes. It almost hit the batter. The throw is late. Altuve's already been hit by one pitch. That one almost clipped his jersey.
Always a tougher throw for the catcher when you have to reach to the glove side of your body to catch the ball. It takes a little bit longer to get into a throwing position, and Michael Bourne doesn't need a lot of help. Always easier to throw as a catcher when you can catch that ball directly in front of your body or on your throwing arm side.
Bourne looking to lead the league in steals for the third consecutive year. Swing and a miss, 1-2.
Hunter Pence has one of the more unusual practice swings in that on-deck circle of anybody we've seen in baseball. You may remember in Washington on the last road trip, Michael Morse had some unusual things he did in his pre-swing routine. Well, now he's not even going to swing it for us. We'll catch it before the day's over. Very unusual looking practice swings.
Called strike 3 on a slider catching the outside corner.
Marja did a nice job of setting that pitch up with everything off the plate inside, leading up to a slider at the very upper corner of the strike zone for a called strike 3. But when you've seen a steady diet of pitches in on your hands, you tend to give up on that pitch away from you a lot quicker than you probably should.
Pitch to Pence, strike 1 on a foul tip. Cubs leading 4-2 here in the 7th. And a pop up. 2 away.
Good news, Len. We had an addition to our Comcast family last night. Todd and Kristen Benjaminson. Proud to welcome Owen Alexander Benjaminson, born at 11/26 yesterday. Todd is one of our producers and directors on our Comcast shows, and Kristen is a senior traffic coordinator. Congratulations to the Benjaminson family.
Benjaminson's son.
Yes.
Jeff Garland getting ready by taking pictures.
I don't know if he has the proper credentials to be taking pictures here.
Slider outside to Carlos Lee. In the dirt on a fastball. 2 balls, no strikes. Pitcher's strike right there, 2-1. Another one. Boy, painted at 98, 2-2.
And Gio slides out there so far off of the outside corner. He's catching those pitches with his glove coming back toward the plate. Maybe letting the home plate umpire think they're better than they really were. Just tried to overthrow that one. You could see his mechanics came apart at the end. Very awkward looking follow through.
Wallace is on deck. Here it is. Swing and a miss. He got him. Here comes Jeff Garland.
Take me out to the ball game. Actor and Chicago native Jeff Garland.
Hey, everybody, let's keep the faith. Let's keep the faith, Cub fans. A 1, a 2, a 3. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I don't care if I ever get back. For it's root for the Cubbies. If they don't win, it's a shame. For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game. We're gonna do it. Let's get some runs. All right, Cub fans. Yeah.
Chicago native, actor, director, comedian, producer.
Gentle lovemaker.
There you go.
I'm sorry.
What he said.
Entertainer, yes.
Yes, entertainer.
You had a very busy night Wednesday. You had a big event at the Steppenwolf Theater, and then you cruised on over to the Palmer House and helped Ryan Dempster raise money for a wonderful cause.
That's correct. I've been meaning to do this with him, and I was in town. It worked out. I went and we put up 3 walk-ons for Curb Your Enthusiasm. $30,000 for Ryan's charity.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it made me so happy. I love that guy.
The final numbers in yet, but it was a very successful event.
Yeah, it should be successful.
And I know Ryan's very thankful that you stopped on over.
Oh yeah, he's coming to my show on Saturday.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's just it makes me feel so good. I can do something so little, like, oh yeah, you're allowed to come on our set. By the way, that'll be $10,000. Give it to Ryan.
Well, as I often say regarding charitable endeavors, there are difficult ways to raise money and there are easy ways.
Right.
And you got to do the easy stuff.
Yes, you do.
You know what I mean?
Yes, you do. And I love the guy who was doing the, calling out the bidding that no one was listening to. He wanted to take the mic from me. I'm like, no, I know what I'm doing. I'm going to make money like that, and people are listening.
Sergio Escalona up in the Astros bullpen. Cubs lead 4-2.
I've been watching you guys on my Major League Baseball at-bat app. And it's been a tough year, but your enthusiasm and your information has kept me going.
Well,
thank you.
Good to hear. Good to hear.
All right, Bob, the things you know, amazing.
If we don't know it, we just make it up, Jeff.
Yes, but you sound like you know it, and that's the whole thing.
That's right. Say it with conviction.
Okay. All right, please be something. No, that's nothing.
Bourne will make the catch.
But look how hard Darwin Barney ran down to first. He knew he was out, and he knows I'm watching, and he just said, I'm going to show him. See, that's the hustle you want. Who's up now? Watch how hard he runs. Here he goes. Look at him. All right, you know what? That's what we need on this team. Guys who run hard to first, even though they know they're clearly out.
I have a question about Curb Your Enthusiasm.
And I have an answer for you.
Okay. I think it was the second episode. You have a character who plays the owner of the Dodgers.
Yes.
And there are some shots at Dodger Stadium.
Yes.
And, it's playing on kind of what's going on
with the Dodgers.
Yes, with the divorce and everything with the McCourts. No, that's not the name of the guy. Yeah. Were you guys allowed to use Dodger Stadium for that, or were these just shots used earlier?
We filmed. Some of them were used earlier. We filmed at the L.A. Coliseum.
Okay.
We filmed in office buildings. We filmed wherever we could. We actually originally tried to get McCourt to play himself. We couldn't pull that off.
Well, he could use the money, though. I mean, if you
he could use the money. Oh my God, he could use the
Dodger
money.
Stadium.
That would pay for maybe his rate would pay for a day of his shortstop salary.
Well, I don't want to give away too much of the upcoming or the current season. Again, I've seen the first 2 episodes. Bob has this bit, when newlyweds get married, and Bob says, the husband needs to remember this phrase, "You're right. Yes, dear, you're right. I'm sorry."
Mm-hmm.
That's Bob's fame. And we're going to see T-shirts with that here soon. Your character is about the only character left who is not divorced.
Yes, and
you were very sad about that in the last episode.
How is it everyone else gets divorced? And I'm married, to, at least in the TV show, to the worst woman possible, and yet I'm stuck with her.
I'll give away one little part. I hate to do it, and
What's that?
You watch it because he's the best at it. But they're sitting at lunch, I believe, at the club, and he turns to his wife and says, "Honey, if we ever get divorced, you take whatever half you want, and I'll take what's left." And her response, which we can't air on a family show, is priceless.
No. Yeah, she let me know that it would not be easy, and I'd rue the day. Yes. By the way, can I say this Sunday night's episode, I think, is the best one all season.
Okay. Oh, good.
It's going to really upset a lot of people.
There's some darkness in there for sure.
Yeah, no, this one, but I think it's the funniest one we've done in years. All right,
Blake
please.
DeWitt.
There we go. Blake DeWitt. But can I say something? On a single, didn't run as hard as Darwin Barney did when Darwin Barney knew he was out. No. I don't know that Blake DeWitt has it in him to match Darwin Barney's energy. I don't know anyone does.
Good point. That's
Mary
good
Johnson.
Well, you do, obviously.
I do, yes. I'm very excited. And by the way, my favorite thing is, and I know this, and this is really funny, man, sometimes when people come up here and they sing the 7th inning stretch, you get rid of them so quickly. They say like 1 or 2 things, and then you're like, well, thanks for stopping by. And it kills me. I'm not going to say who I saw one recently. I think it was the quickest hook I ever saw. It's the call to the pen.
Yes, thanks for joining us, Jeff. Jeff Garland's here. It is the Toyota call to the pen, as he said. Back with more in the 7th.
I just bought a Toyota for my parents. We're picking it up on Saturday.
Beautiful.
And I did it while we called to the pen. The pen was called, and I called my local Toyota dealer. And you know what I got?
What'd you get?
Arlington Heights Toyota. I got a Corolla for my parents.
Very nice.
Yeah, there you go.
You're a good son.
I am a good son. I'm a good son. I love the art of puppetry. I love rainbows. I don't know what I love.
Long walks on the beach.
Long walks on the beach with you, Bob.
You love the Cubs. We know that.
Oh, man, do I love the Cubs.
We appreciate that.
I love them. And it's definitely been a tough year. And that's tough broadcasting every day when things aren't working out the way you want them to. But, good things can be as soon as next year. I mean, that's how quick it can turn.
Well, the other thing you hang your hat on in terms of being a fan every day is that this 3-hour chunk of your life could be the best 3 hours of the year.
Yes,
you can
it could.
always see a great game, a great
Always.
finish.
Oh my God! How about the other night beating Halliday?
That was a great game. You're
Yeah,
right.
yeah. You know, so it can. Baseball's the best. Baseball's the best. So happy. And look at Wrigley Field, man. I think that everybody should sing the seventh inning stretch and come up here with you. And I think I'm actually going to suggest that to the Cubs, that every inning someone else sings it, and you're up here with somebody new every inning.
Well, I think by the middle of September this year, we will have had everybody who wants to sing it up here.
But I have to say, this view is the great view. I was just in Paris. There's no view like this in Paris. I go to Hawaii every few years, Maui. There's no view like this in Maui. This is the best view in the world. In the world.
I would agree. We just talked about that earlier. We don't take it for granted.
No. I can tell by the way you broadcast. I'm happy to be here.
Runner at first, 2-1 on Fukudome. Had another little comedy moment that was fun. Richard Lewis appears on Curb Your Enthusiasm quite a bit. Louis C.K. was in town for the big comedy festival a few weeks ago, and he was asked to bring 3 guests. And he started his show and said, my first thought was to bring the 3 worst comics I could who still would not make you want to walk out because I wanted to keep all the money. But then I decided, you know what, I'll bring 3 friends. So there were surprise guests, Jake Johansson, Richard Lewis, and Stephen Wright.
Really?
What a wonderful surprise that was.
What a
And Richard
great show
got
with
the
Louis
biggest
C.K.
ovation by far.
Did he?
Packed house at the Chicago Theater.
But let me tell you something, Richard Lewis. When he is on, he might be the best comedian in the world. When he is off, run. run. And you don't know what you're going to get on any particular night. I have seen him be so genius that it blows my mind. That it makes me even want to quit being a comedian. He's that good.
Well, there's something about that, though, as Kosuke takes a walk. Some of the great comedians and some of the great bands are the bands who can be unbelievably great or just a total train wreck. You never know what you're going to
All right,
get.
let me just say this. How about Reggie Jackson?
Sure.
Go up. I mean, isn't he like, what is he, like number 1 or in the top 5 for strikeouts? And talk about a guy who could change the game like that. You know, I love this kid. Campana.
Tony Campana will pinch run for DeWitt.
Man. See, DeWitt doesn't run fast enough. I think he tried doing what Darwin Barney did, but he just can't. Campana, on the other hand, can score before you can say the word dreidel. Has the word dreidel ever been said up here in the booth?
It just was.
It has now.
It has now. I just wanted to bring a little Hanukkah excitement. Is this another Toyota call to the booth? Is that what's going on now?
Yes.
Do I have to buy another car? The call to the pen?
Jeff will buy another Corolla during this break. It's the Toyota call to the pen. Fernando Rodriguez is on. It is, Jeff.
It was a call to the pen. You know what I did during that break? I bought Pat Hughes a Prius. I bought Pat Hughes a Prius, and in the back seat is an Acapulco taco pie.
Is Fernando Rodriguez. There's Pat.
He's got a Prius. He doesn't even know it.
He
Doesn't even know it.
know it.
Thank you, Jeff, for a Prius. I appreciate it. I was in the booth with Pat Hughes. Chicago Cubs, Pat Hughes.
Dropped a little Ronnie on us during the
yes, I can't help but do that.
Stretch.
Yeah, my vocal range is that of Ron Santo.
Castro hits the first pitch in the air, and Carlos Lee will make the grab. We have a little reaction to your 7th inning stretch.
I love that. I'm going to get her an Acapulco taco pie from Seattle Sutton. Jeff, I appreciate the Prius. I appreciate it. But even more, I love the Acapulco taco pie. You're welcome, Pat. Aramis Ramirez hit a homer.
Yes, he did.
No, I want him to hit another homer.
Oh,
I want his trade value to go up. That's what I'm looking for. You don't have to say anything. You guys, you just don't have to say a word. I'm not here every day. I can say what I want. I want Soriano and Ramirez to keep hitting homers. That's all I'm saying. You figure it out.
Comedic hit and run from Jeff Garland.
The views expressed by Jeff Garland are not necessarily those.
Oh, man.
See, I thought you'd prefer a base hit so you could watch Tony Campana run.
Well, he's going to. But by the way, I guarantee if right now Ramirez jacks it, Campana runs like he invented running. Hard. No matter what. Campana's great.
Going outside, 2-1.
Now you got me thinking, who did invent running?
Who did invent running? Bill Running was his name.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bill Running. They named it after him. He was just after the cavemen. You know, the cavemen got eaten a lot because they didn't run. And then shortly thereafter, a guy named Bill Running came along and said, "Those idiots! Look, everybody, watch."
Don't think this one's going to get out. Carlos Lee.
Oh, wow.
Usually the bigger guy catches it. This time it's Michael Bourne to make the grab.
I thought it was Michael Bolton.
Jeff, thanks for stopping by.
Thank you.
Appreciate
An
it.
honor
a little
to be
longer
here.
than I wanted you in here today, but no, I'm just kidding. You're the best.
Thanks, man. Thank you.
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Thank you so much.
Left-hander John Grabo is on. Carlos Marmol is up in the bullpen. We haven't yet seen Sean Marshall or Kerry Wood up in the bullpen. This is Jason Bourgeois batting for Brett Wallace. Bourgeois just came off the disabled list. Activated today, had a sprained right quad. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. Is it a stretch to say Jeff Garland might be the best regular guest we've had?
Oh,
He's
man.
got it all, doesn't he?
He gets it. He has a good time, and he loves his Cubbies.
We're going to see Carlos Marmol. Let's see, Toyota called to the pen. He said he did 2 hours the other day. Stand-up comedy, got a standing ovation. Check him out if you get a chance. 4-2 Cubs. We'll be back. Carlos Marmol working his way back toward the 9th inning.
And the good news for Carlos Marmol and Cubs fans, last time out on the 18th against the Phillies, he pitched an inning. He did walk 2 batters. However, he struck out 2 batters. The first time in 6 outings that he'd struck out an opposing hitter.
Fastball is high. Chris Johnson. Nobody up in the Cubs pen at this point here in the 8th. Cubs leading 4-2. Slider strike. 1-1. Call strike 3 on the slider. 2 down here in the 8th.
First pitch fastball to start the sequence. All sliders after that. Right on that outside corner at the knees. A little bit of downward movement. That's what we're looking for from Carlos Marmol. That slider had gotten flat instead of working its way not only across but down. It was just very flat across the strike zone for a string of about 5 or 6 outings. Better downward movement on that one.
1-0 on Barmas. Make it 1-1. And 2. It's good to see him get that fastball in the strike zone. Cubs leading because of one big inning, a 4-run fifth that included 2 home runs. Stepped out at the last possible second.
You saw the numbers for Barmas against Marmol. 0 for 5 with a walk. I think there's a lot of hitters in the National League that have similar statistics against Carlos Marmol. 0 for 4 with 2 walks. 0 for 6 with 3 walks. 0 for 5 with a walk and a hit by pitch.
Swing and a miss. Marmol strikes out both batters he faced here in the 8th inning. Great spot, Buckingham Fountain, during the summertime here in Chicago. Bourgeois stays in the game and plays left after pinch hitting for the first baseman Brett Wallace. Carlos Lee goes from left to first as Pena. Carlos Pena, happy to see Bud Norris out of the game. He struck out all 3 times against the Astros starter today. Facing Fernando Rodriguez. Sean Marshall playing the closer today. Lee gets an opportunity and flips it to the pitcher. Goes 3-1.
We'll see a Cubs game from the front row at Wrigley Field. Now you can visit Cubs.com and click on the CBOE front row seats auction to bid on tickets in the front row behind home plate and along the first baseline. Front row seats will be auctioned off to every game all season long, so don't miss your chance. Go to Cubs.com And check out the CBOE front row seats auction today.
Bird has grounded out 3 times, and his average has dipped from 303 to 299 on the year. Breaking ball in the dirt. 2-0 the count. What a weird year for the Astros bullpen. They're in a very good stretch at the moment, with a 0.99 collective ERA over their last 13 games. But they went over a month between saves. 38 days. Mark Melancon, the closer, saved a game against St. Louis on June 8th. They didn't have another one until July 16th against the Pirates. Not only that, Melancon had 1 save chance during that drought. That's hard to do. Brandon Lyon was the closer earlier this year. He got hurt. An arm injury, had surgery. Bird gets hit by the 3-2 pitch. I think it's the first time he's been hit since coming back from the DL.
First time he's been hit at the major league level. He did get plunked on one of his rehab outings down at the minor league level. That one catches him on the back of the left arm. Probably put a dent in the baseball.
Interesting thing about that moment in Boston back in May, when Bird got hit in the face by an Alfredo Aceves pitch. He had been hit 2 times the night before. And normally Marlin's a guy who doesn't really care to get out of the way. Fastball down the middle, 1-2 to Soto. He got him on the outside corner. First strikeout for Rodriguez since he came on in the 7th.
Well, hopefully a lot of positives to take out of this ball game. First of all, bring it home, but good outing by Carlos Marmol today. A couple of strikeouts to the 2 hitters he faced, and Alfonso Soriano is starting to show some signs of snapping out of his doldrums.
In on the hands and fouled off. Paid crowd today, 39,855. What has turned into a gorgeous Friday afternoon after some major thunderstorms late this morning. To right, Pence will get there near the line. So we will head to the 9th. Left-hander Sean Marshall on to try to notch the save. We'll be back. Cubs leading because of 2 home runs. Part of a 4-run fifth. Soriano led off the inning with his first homer in over a month. And then the big shot by Aramis Ramirez. 2-run homer made it 4-2. Reed Johnson comes in as part of a double switch to play left. Soriano made the final out of the 8th. And that's where the pitcher spot will be. It's Sean Marshall. And he's going to face back-to-back pinch hitters to start the Astros 9th. Angel Sanchez and Matt Downs before Michael Bourne.
Now this Astros team very right-handed heavy. Only 2 lefties available. Michael Bourne and Brett Wallace. Wallace was taken down for the pinch hitter in the 8th inning. Michael Bourne, the 3rd scheduled hitter here in this inning. Sean Marshall's going to have to face a whole bunch of righties here today. Hopefully only 3. But he's pitched very well against right-handed hitters this year. His splits are nearly even. He does walk a few more right-handed hitters than lefties, but otherwise very even.
Sanchez batting for the catcher Quintero. He's hitting .350 in the pinch with a .381 on base percentage. And the liner is caught by Aramis Ramirez for the out. Always big to get that leadoff man. Well, Chris Kentner, our technical director, is getting married tomorrow. Congrats to Chris and his fiancee Alicia. And I'm told that's what he will wear. I think he'll wash the shirt tonight, but that's the outfit he will wear tomorrow afternoon.
Congratulations. Best of luck. You know what to do.
It will not be Matt Downs. It'll be Jason Michaels instead in the pitcher's spot. Michaels with a pinch hit, game-ending RBI single on Wednesday in the 11th inning to give the Astros a 3-2 win over the Nationals. 3rd career game-ending hit. He has done this a lot. Ground ball, Castro scoops it up. 2 down. Marshall trying to get his 2nd save since taking over for Carlos Marmol. Blew the save, took the loss on Tuesday against the Phillies. Here's Bourne. Corner men in. Bourne just trying to find a way to get on base. And put the tying run at the plate, and if that does happen, it will be Downs who would hit for Altuve.
Michael Bourne 2 for 8 lifetime against Sean Marshall, but 6 strikeouts.
Strike 2. There it is. Right down the middle. He throws him on a fastball. Cubs win. Marshall goes 1-2-3 in the ninth, and the Cubs start this weekend with a 4-2 victory, as Carlos Zambrano beats Bud Norris. Sarah Kusta field with the man who hit the game-winning home run.
Thank you, Lana Ramos. Your 2-run home run put the Cubs up ahead for good. 3 home runs, 5 doubles in this homestand so far. How you feeling at the plate, and how has helped you to find your swing so much?
I don't know. All of a sudden I just got more relaxed. Try to relax my hands a little bit, and when I get a good pitch to hit, I usually put it and play hard.
In both the second inning and the third inning, Carlos Zambrano faced a bases loaded, no out situation. What did you see out of his composure and what he was able to do to get out of those innings with just giving up 1 run?
Well, he did what you're supposed to do when you're in trouble. He just relaxed and made pitches. And, he got lucky, too, when Hunter Pérez hit a 3-0 fastball hard to Soriano, but he pitched well, and, we scored just enough runs to win the game.
All right, congratulations, Ramos. We appreciate your time.
Thank you.
All right, Len, back to you guys.
All right, Sarah, thank you. As Cub fans are happy today. And sometimes, there is a little luck involved. As Aramis mentioned, that was a key part of that game, Bob. Bases loaded, nobody out in 2 different innings, the second and the third, and they only got 1.
Well, it happens in the game sometimes, but today was a day that Zambrano needed to have a little luck. He didn't have his best stuff. He got himself into some jams, as we talked about, but was able to get out of them with the help of his own defense today.
That'll do it for our game coverage. Stay tuned for Coors Light post-game live. Once again, the final score, the Cubs 4 and the Astros 2. We're right back here tomorrow at noon on Comcast Sportsnet. Pregame live at 11:30. Lefty Wandy Rodriguez will oppose right-hander Randy Wells. In-game scoring provided by ScorePad, and now for Bob, for Sarah, and our entire CSN crew. This is Len Casper. Let's send it down to Cap and Holly in our downtown Chicago studios.